Welcome to the Why Not podcast with me, Chrissy Hawkins. In a world where everybody asks you why, I'm here to ask why not. So sit back and relax or walk and listen and join me on this journey as we try to answer this never-ending question: what makes people say, why not? Hi guys, welcome back to Why Not. So today we're going to talk about the pitfalls people fall into when they're on a fat loss or an exercise program. Talk a little bit about, trusting the process. I think I talked about that several times. Talking about, not comparing yourself to others and, just overall as well, being patient and the language you use. So those nice little things here to think about. If you are maybe midway through a program and starting to struggle a little bit, these are things you should reconsider. So I hope you enjoy this and love to hear back on what you think. Hi guys, welcome back to Why Not. So today's original plan for my episode was going to actually be sweating the small stuff. So like saying how we often obsess about little things when we're kind of in a fitness journey, and instead of actually just focusing on the bigger things and obsessing over getting the hardest possible workout for 45 minutes, yet not doing anything for the rest of the day, when it's only a small portion of your day. And if you got out and go for walks and stuff like that, you'd increase your results maybe, or if you focused on things like that, it could improve your results. But what happened when I started writing it down was actually that I went in a different direction with it, and I think it is pitfalls that we fall into if we're on a fat loss, weight loss kind of journey. And this is kind of coming from things I hear clients saying or things people have been saying to me in the gym, and I kind of think, okay, maybe this is something we need to look at more, because I think there's a lot of people out there who will join a fitness plan or fitness program, and even if it's not one of the ones where you're supposed to go gung-ho for several weeks and then be grand, it's people are trying to go too hard too quickly, and a lot of it is to do with having lack of patience and wanting to see the results that they think they should be having quicker, obviously. And when that's not happening, they kind of feel like they need to do more, or put more work in so they can get the results they want, when sometimes that actually has a negative effect. So that's where I'm going with it now. It's going to be pitfalls that we fall into when we initially start training. And this also goes for the January people. I think it's something that I said a lot before, but they're all probably disappearing now. So some people might be in the middle of programs, and kind of if you're on a 3-month or 6-month program, or even 2 months, I think it can be very easy a couple of weeks in to feel a little bit disheartened, because it's not as I said, it's not happening as quick as you think it should. But if you want it to be sustainable, it needs to happen this way. And I say time and time again, the amount of people who go back and do the same thing over and over again, these quick transformations, because they say it worked, but if it actually worked, you wouldn't have to do it again. So if you are trying something different and you are finding that you're getting a little bit, I suppose, impatient with it, you're gonna need to kind of calm that down and trust the process. So this is actually the first thing I want to start with, is trusting your coach, okay? Because I've heard about this happening before, I've seen it happen, and you might be doing a fat loss program or something, and you are given a certain amount of calories to have each day or have over the course of a week, and you think to yourself, but if I have less than that, I will actually get my results quicker. So I'm just going to eat less. Now, here's one thing as well. You're paying a coach for a reason. So why would you go against the advice that they're giving you, first off? Because, you went out, you hired them. So you hire them because they know more than you, and you want their guidance to help you get to a certain point. So why are you going rogue and doing your own thing because you think it's better? Like, that to me makes no sense. Like, you wouldn't go to a doctor, say, and no, actually people diagnose themselves all the time, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, basically, you're paying for something, then doing it the way you think it is anyway, so it completely defeats the purpose of you paying for it. And the problem was, if you've been given, say, a certain amount of calories, generally broken into macros, protein, fats, carbs, it's been done for a reason in relation to your weight and your goals. And if you decide to cut that more, two things will happen, or two things can happen. One, when you have a calorie drop, I say, coming, you will have to lower them so low that you will have feck all food to eat, and you're going to be so cranky and not really get the enjoyment out of your training, or not be able to push it to the max effort, because, you know, with training we are also, say, a lot of the time trying to build muscle as well as lose body fat. If you have no energy to push, you won't build as much muscle, so, you know, muscle and leanness looks better than just skinny. So, you know, you are kind of, in a sense, defeating that purpose, or making it harder for you to get that goal you want by eating so little. And our body adapts to running on less calories, so if it doesn't feel like it's getting enough, it'll stop you moving more, it'll stop you wanting to do things. So first off, you're going to move less, so that'll, you know, stop you from being able to get steps in, get all the other things we're doing around the training, and you'll feel like shit the whole time as well. So that's one thing. The second thing being as well, you will be getting less nutrients in, because the calorie cut has to come from somewhere. So either you will not be taking in enough protein in order for your body to repair and grow the muscle so you look better, or look the way you want to look, for want of a better description, or you're taking in less carbs, which means, again, your body has less fuel. It's going to have to take that fuel from either the protein source, which though can't go into building your muscle, or you're taking less fat, which can actually quite inhibit your cognitive function, which can make focusing and doing general day-to-day tasks really, really difficult. So taking these extreme ways or whatever, it doesn't come without consequences. So yes, you can use, like, increase your energy output or whatever, and that could basically make you use more energy without cutting your calories, but, like, still, just as I said, you've paid someone here. Trust the process, be patient. It will not happen as quick as you want. The people you are modelling yourself off have done it for years. They haven't done it in a 3-month program, and you just have to be patient and let that happen. I know you might have an event or something coming up, or maybe, like, it's so hard to listen to that voice is saying, if you just do this it'll be easier, but I guarantee you, if you do it the way you've been asked or you've been shown how to do, it will make a huge difference in comparison to going off your own way. Plus, why are you wasting your money if you know better anyway? That was the first one I wanted to talk about. And another one I think is the language we use a lot, and I find I hear this a lot, and I hear people, like, giving out to themselves for being so bad, or eating really bad food, or, you know, they're almost like, oh, I had a chocolate bar, I'm a terrible person. And the thing is, like, there is a time and a place for every food. And actually, in my last episode here, I did talk to a nutritionist who deals with horse riders, but she did say, and she also helps people work on their relationship with food, and she was saying before, you know, we try to avoid the whole good food, bad food, and there's a reason people are saying that now, and it's true. It's the more you label stuff bad, or you say you shouldn't have it, it generally tells our brain, we go, oh, I want that now, and, like, tell me I'm wrong here. You know, if you think I shouldn't think about this and I shouldn't have it, it's exactly what you're going to want. And that's why we need to try and take these things away. And, like, sit down, right? Here's the thing, right? Sit down and write out a list of foods. Put some in the good column and put some in a bad column. And I want you to write beside each one 3 reasons why they are good or why they are bad. Like, it can't just be silly things like it has a lot of calories, because you could say, for instance, I hear people often talk about avocado. Avocado's a lot of fat in it, so it's high calorie. Yet, if we have chocolate, it's bad, but avocado's good. So I understand that there is more nutrients in an avocado, but sometimes you just need that chocolate, and it's okay to have that chocolate. And once you're okay with having that chocolate, it'll make it easier to make those decisions to have the avocado. Now, personally, I can't stand avocados, so I'm never going to make that decision. But I think if we're not focused so much on what this food is it good, is it bad? No, it's just food. They don't have morals, as Shane Walsh has said before. You know, they just, some have, I say, are more nutrient dense than others, which is true. You know, you're going to get more protein from a yogurt than you're from a chocolate bar. You're going to have probably fuller for longer as well. But then sometimes having a bit of chocolate or having a bit of cake or something and celebrating with someone is great, because, you know, seeing people, you know, food isn't just fuel, but sometimes it's socialising, it's seeing friends that you haven't seen for a long time. You know, that is as good for your health as eating kale salads for a month straight, which is, I wouldn't recommend, by the way. But the reason being is, like, we always think of, like, when it comes to fitness and all, and our health, and it's all just about what we eat and what we exercise, but your mental health is just important. So if your mental health's improved by seeing your friends and maybe having a couple of drinks at the weekend, that could be what you need. And look, if you really want to, you can work this into your calorie allowance for the week, if it is something that you're really really important to you. To be honest, most of us, I think, want a level of leanness that is either photoshopped or unsustainable. And anyone who, say, for instance, gets competition lean or that kind of thing will tell you themselves that it is not sustainable. It's not a long-term thing. They get that lean for a couple of days, get a photo shoot, get it all edited, looks fab, use those photos to sell you into their program. And that's what's going to happen. They're not going to show you, well, people will show you their journey, like, but they're not going to use photos of them sitting in the couch with a Domino's after the show, are they? They're going to show you the ones where they're lean as feck, because that's what people want. Now, some trainers will show you all the warts and all, which is quite funny, but they're obviously often not doing the bodybuilding competitions. And again, we need to remember, any image you see in the media, a lot of them on social media, they're edited, they're curated to look a certain way, so the people in them often don't even look like that. So it's not a bad thing if you don't. Okay, just remember that. And another thing I think is, you see a lot of people, like, when they get into it, and again, this is a January pitfall or another training programs, and I spoke about it briefly earlier, is like putting in extra sessions or whatever because you want to burn more calories and all. But overtraining to the point that you dread going to the gym is not going to help your cause at all. You know, you are going to just, as I said, hate doing it. As soon as you are finished, you're never going to go again, and you're going to rebound to what you did before. If you, like, people kind of glorify the going to the gym so often, doing double classes, and kind of compare themselves to other people, going, oh, I'm not as dedicated and all that. But, like, if you're the person who goes consistently and you just want to have a few beers at the weekend and maybe not feel as guilty, now you shouldn't feel guilty anyway, but if it's just something that you have to balance out your life, if that makes sense, just maybe it's a blow off steam, maybe to see your mates in the classes, maybe it's just something to keep you moving, but you still come week in, week out, that's way more healthy for you than the person who does 6 days a week and grinds himself into the ground for 3 months and is never seen again once whatever event they're training for is over. So I think we have to think about it that way. Like, there's a real problem with, obviously, people comparing each other. You see it in all walks of life, and there is a saying, you know, comparison is the thief of joy, and that is so true. Like, you're comparing yourself to what you do in comparison to what someone else is doing, and it can make you feel like you're not doing enough, which you are. You know, you're doing enough for you. Like, what they're doing maybe too much. It's not a case of you have to do this much to be perfect. I think we need to look at the language you use. I said it like around food, but as well around when we talk about us. Missing one workout doesn't make you a bad person. Going to the gym less doesn't make you a bad person. Doing something different to other people. Like some people like certain trainings. Some people don't like certain ways of training. You don't have to do what they do. You know what I mean? You can have whatever way you enjoy training and do it that way. And that's all you need to do. Like, you don't need to be doing what everyone else is doing. And as I said, comparison is the thief of joy. And that is one way to completely ruin your exercise experience, whether you do it for fun, whether you do it for, to get to a certain point, or, there's many different reasons people exercise as well. And I think we need to remember that as well. Not everyone goes to the gym for weight loss. Many people go to the gym to clear their head. Many people go as part of a social experience. Some people go to gain weight. There's plenty of people out there who want to gain weight and muscle. Some people go because it's an escape. Some people go because they like the challenge. There's so many different reasons. So that's another thing as well. Like, if you're looking at someone and you're comparing yourself, maybe even comparing them, being like, oh, they're not doing as well as me or whatever. Maybe they're training for completely different reasons. So we need to focus on ourselves and stop looking at everything around us in order to get the best results that work for us. And using these constant, like, I'm eating badly, or I'm not as good as this person, or wow, they're so dedicated, I'm not, is a really, really quick way to put you off doing what you're doing. So if you're enjoying it, and if you're getting results that you want, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. You remember, you don't have to go to the gym. I say this all the time. You don't have to go to the gym. You can go and keep active by walking, by running, by playing sport, by doing whatever way you want to, but just keeping active is so important for your health. Now, there is some caveats to that. If you want to be ripped and muscular, jogging probably won't do it for you. There is sometimes in some places where you will have to do things that you may not particularly enjoy if that's the results you want. So you need to train for what you want. You can do research and find out what is a way, or what is maybe the most recommended ways. I would advise, if you are looking that up, try to go for, verified kind of sites, not just Johnny the PT who tells you lift, and if you don't lift, you're useless. But as I said, what we want to do is find something you enjoy, but with the caveat, if you do want a certain result, you may have to do a certain type of exercise. And the thing is, you have to figure out, you might start enjoying it after time, you might hate it all along. It's up to you to figure out, do you want to make that sacrifice, or do you want to just keep going the way you are and accept that you will not get the results that you were looking for from doing that type of exercise. And that's okay as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Before anyone worries that makes them a bad person, it doesn't. The last thing is as well, I did say this, touch on this a little bit. If you are training and you want a certain result, be patient, okay? Nobody that you look up to, I said this before, looks like that in 6 to 8 weeks, in 3 months. The most of the people who have a fair amount of muscle or a fair amount of strength or stamina have been training for years. And by training for years, they have built up different habits, different training. So muscle from training, eating habits from training, all these kind of things have taken years to build up. You're not going to do it overnight. You're probably not going to do it in 3 months. You're probably not going to do it in 6 months. But if you are patient and keep working with it and stick to the process, especially if you have a coach, remember, stick to the process. That's why you're paying them. You will get the results you want. But you have to be ready to put the work in. You have to be ready to build habits that are not a couple of months, 6, 8, 12 weeks long. These are habits that you're going to need to keep building on for the rest of your life. Okay? It's not that easy to... It is easy to maintain it. It's easier to maintain it after a certain amount of time. But flipping in and out of exercise or different programs is not going to happen. You're not going to maintain it. So you need to pick a plan, stick to it when you don't want to do it, stick to it when you do want to do it. Make sure it's manageable and sustainable, because if you're burned out after a couple of weeks, it's neither of those. And then over time, it becomes second nature. It becomes part of your life. And once that happens, there's no stopping you. You'll be able to get to where you want to be. So, I hope you found that helpful. I think it's really important to remind people these little things, because I hear it again, time and time again. And it's nothing against anyone who says it. It's a constant learning, I think, with fitness. And it's so hard to break the old habits and the bad things we were told years ago. But once we can eventually get that into our brain, as in, I don't mean that in a rude way, but like as we can finally get it to translate like that, it'll make things a whole lot easier. And to be honest, you'll probably constantly have little battles where you want to do it a certain way, and you just have to be like, trust the process, do it the way I'm supposed to do it, keep this going. If we keep going like this, things will work out the way I want to. This is why I'm doing it. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, as I said. And if you want to find me, as ever, Instagram, Chrissy H Fitness. Also, we have my horse Instagram and TikTok at strongthesaddle_ for Instagram, and TikTok is at strongthesaddle. And my website, if you want to find out about coaching with me, is www.chrissyhawkins.com. So I hope you enjoyed this. See you for now. I won't actually see you because this is a podcast. Yeah. I really do appreciate everybody who listens to this podcast. So if you please could help me with the algorithm and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And even, if you want to reach out and suggest topics for me, I'd be delighted to hear from you. Drop me a DM on Instagram or TikTok. And thanks again for listening.